Hi, I'm Mary Lee LaBay. I've been teaching past life regression for 25 years, something like that, including at Bastyr University, Bellevue College, and now my courses are up on teachable.com. And so I have a lot of opportunity to explain past life regression to people and different ways that we can view this or perceive of it. And sometimes it's helpful to have some metaphors and some way of creating a picture in our mind of what this would look like so that we can, kind of get our hands around the concept, right? So one of the metaphors that I use, and there are a lot of them because it's a vast topic. I mean, I could talk to you for weeks, and maybe I will. Eventually, over enough films, maybe we'll be talking for weeks. But today, I want to give you one of my metaphors that I use to help people to understand the soul and the past life regressions, right? And remember that when we use a metaphor, the metaphor is like a map, and the map is not the journey, all right? It can help us to navigate it. It gives us a picture that puts into logical form what this road is going to look like, right? So in the same way, this metaphor that I'm going to give you today is not how it looks, and it's not what it is. It's a metaphor for it, but it helps us to kind of get it in our heads, kind of wrap our mind around this concept. So, past lives, we also use the term aspect. So, for me, so in reality, it's one lifetime, all right? It's one continuous life that is divided between through the death experience, much like a book that is divided into a lot of chapters, right? So it's one life that is divided into a lot of little lifetimes, little vignettes, separated by the death experience, death and birth, right? So you're living in the physical world, you're living in the spiritual world, you're living in the physical world, the spiritual world. So we just keep coming in and out like that. So the metaphor that I want to share with you today is um, so we call these aspects. So each time we're in a lifetime, that's an aspect. So I have an infinite number of aspects. I have an infinite number of lifetimes, and so do you. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I went to a psychic and they said I had 12 lives. I would get a new psychic, all right? Everybody has had an infinite number of lifetimes. Your consciousness was created at the beginning of time and space. And you may have been off planet, which we all would have been, because just our universe alone is what, 13 billion years, and our planet or our galaxy is 3.2 billion, right? So there's 10 billion years that happened just in our three-dimensional universe where we were in existence and had consciousness. And of course, I believe that there is life in other galaxies, other solar systems. Yeah, we aren't going to be so self-centered and egotistical to think that the Earth was the only place that could be inhabited. And then beyond this universe, of course, there are other universes and other planes of existence. And planes are described by dimensions, just like in geometry, right? Length, width, height is ours, 3 dimensions. And then there are others, and that'll be a different topic. But just to tell you, we have an infinite number of lifetimes. There's going to be plenty to explore once you get started, right? And each lifetime we are going to call an aspect. But the metaphor that I use is if your soul was like a giant diamond, right? Just a huge diamond. It doesn't even have to be in a diamond shape, just a huge diamond. And the millions of, the infinite number of aspects or facets are describing this diamond. Now, like we know in geometry, because some people say, well, if I had an infinite number of lifetimes and so did you, then we must have had the same lifetime. But that's not really true logic, because if you look at a circle on a piece of paper, we know by geometry that there are an infinite number of points that you could put within that circle. And you could have another circle with an infinite number of points, and those circles don't necessarily intersect, right? So you have your diamond with an infinite number of aspects. Or with the diamond metaphor, we're going to call them facets, right? So you're living on one facet of this diamond. And if you don't know about any of the other facets, the majority of you, you know, one out of an infinite number, the rest of that, the infinite number, you have no clue about. That's you, that's your soul. And so, as was written in the Temple of Delphi, know thyself. It's attributed to Socrates. He did use that, but it was originally written on the Temple of Delphi in Greece. And, know thyself. And for people who are on the spiritual path, that is the most important thing. Well, that is a hugely important thing that people are doing. They're learning about themselves. What is my purpose? Why am I like this? What am I supposed to be doing? And you do that through self-discovery. Well, the most important way to self-discover is by going into your past lives. Because imagine you're living on one facet, and an infinite number, or this multitude of who you actually are is completely unknown to you. Unknown to you. Crazy, all right? And so here you are on this infinitesimal, is that a word? Infinitesimal, infinite, I guess it is, point on this incredible diamond that is you, your soul, right? And so you live like that, like an island in this vast sea. And so you're walking around really not sure of what you're doing here. How did you get here? What am I supposed to do? What direction am I supposed to walk in? What is my purpose, right? So many people come to me to find this out, to unravel this mystery. And the easiest way to do that is by going through past lives. So we have this diamond, infinite number of facets. And imagine if it was really a diamond, right? And so a diamond would have luster and shine and light coming out of it, and the interplay of all that color and dimensionality that we associate with a diamond. So imagine if your lover comes to you with a piece of jewelry, maybe an engagement ring, right? And it's a diamond with one facet. I'm not even, how does that even happen, right? Where would the luster, the shine, the light, the substance, the value be? It wouldn't reflect anything. It would be dull, right? So, and the other thing is really being the island without any anchoring into the majority of who you are. So as you begin to explore your lifetimes, you start, piecing together like a big spider web. Or how I like to see it is, if you ever see a city at night from the air, from an airplane, and you see the lines of the major thoroughfares and the sparkling lights everywhere, right? And it's like that. You start drawing those lines, those avenues of communication between these different lifetimes, and you start adding sparkle and light into this field of aspects that represent who you are. And it starts to bring you this incredible substance and wisdom, because you can see the similarities. You can see the root causes of what's going on in your life now? Why do you choose these friends? Why did you choose these parents? What is your purpose? You know, if your soul was created at the beginning of time and space, it was created with a purpose, right? And so in those lifetimes when you were still connected to that innate knowledge of who you were, um, and who you were created to be, you would have been naturally following or aiming yourself at that purpose, naturally going for that all important goal, right? And so by going into these different lifetimes, we can triangulate and we can say, wow, in that lifetime, I was a healer. In that lifetime, I was an herbologist. In that lifetime, I was a witch doctor. And in this lifetime, I was a doctor. And in that lifetime, I was a counselor. And in this lifetime, I was just a wise woman in the forest and people would come to me. And in this lifetime, I was, you know, maybe a native of some, you know, an indigenous tribe. And you know, I was the wise person. But you would start to see the thread here. Maybe you were doing hands-on healing. So everybody's going to have a different thread, but that it's kind of an easy one to pick to demonstrate. But you know, maybe you're here and, oh, I don't know what direction, I don't know what I need to do, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And you start to see the theme and you start to see the thread. But beyond what you do as a healer, let's just say it's a healer, beyond what you're doing as a healer, you start to see the why behind it. Why am I healing? What is the point? What's the bigger picture always? And especially in those lifetimes when you were really well connected to your higher self and your higher consciousness. So you start to see that and it really becomes clear. And so you start to think, well, how could I do that in this life, in this time and space? And it could be really different. Maybe now you're healing as a negotiator between countries or between warring factions. You know, maybe that healing is being done in a different way, or maybe it's being done in the same way, but you understand the why and what is the bigger picture and the energy that comes to you and the growth that you have in your soul by completing this purpose. So I think that's probably good for right now, but I just wanted you to have that picture in your mind of the diamond with the aspects which we call facets, the aspects which are our past lives, and the facets of the diamond that represent those aspects, and the importance of connecting them, of bringing those into your conscious awareness, so that they're available for you to use. You could remember how you used those herbs, and you could remember how you did energy work and the reason why you rattled shook your rattle or whatever. You would have this greater knowledge right there inside your conscious awareness. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. I'll be posting some more videos on different metaphors and different ways we can look at past life regression and different valuable ways that we can use them in our personal life. Thank you.